What's up, fuckers? What's up, players?
What's
we are the
up?
Well-Managed Cartel. This is Super Liga Center. I'm Tom.
Mike.
Marlon.
Chris. And this is week 3. We're going to recap week 3 and get into our weekly topics. So let's just get right into it. And I guess I'll talk about my game first. The Bad Hombres, my team, went up against Crossfaded, which is Eric's team. And I put up 155 points and still fucking lost. So I feel like this week is crazy. I hate to see it. You put up 150 points. Put up 150 points, it's in God's hands at that point, dude. Yeah. If I lose, I lose. There's nothing I can do about that. Marlon, I feel like this week, I feel like this week the scores were really high, right? Like a lot of players had really good games, and the scores were like super inflated this week. And so I lost. I scored. My team scored 155 points, and Crossfaded scored 170 points, and it was actually. I was actually getting blown out. I had like a 3% chance of winning up until the Rams game, and Cooper Kupp, man, my boy Cooper Kupp went off, and so did Brendan Cooks, and it actually made the game. It actually made it a lot closer. Eric's individual defensive player actually ended up playing on Monday, and that's how he kind of pulled away from me. But yeah, man, I mean, it was a good game for my team, a good scoring week, the highest scoring week, but I still lost. So that sucks. So
I think Deshaun Watson put up close to 40. Julio Jones put up 32. So those are the big players for him. And then you had, Brandon Cooks put up 26 and Cooper Kupp put up 39 as well. So yeah, pretty big score going on.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me about is that, uncharacteristically, Hopkins has had 2 bad games in a row, and that doesn't really happen often. He had, bad games by his standards, obviously. He scored 9 points in week 2 and then 12 points in week 3. So I'm hoping I can get a little bit more out of Hopkins this next week, because I think it's rare for him to have 2 bad games in a row like that. I doubt he'll have 3 bad games in a row. Yeah. So I'm hoping he picks it up for me this next week.
He'll probably grab a score this week.
Hope so, man.
So yeah, this was actually the last round of divisional games before we head into the non-divisional games. We're going to start playing, guys from the other divisions, from the lesser divisions.
Right.
You guys want so you guys, Chris went 1-2 you're 1-2 in the division, and Eric is 2-1.
He's 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom, you went up against Vino Poppies, right? Las Vegas United, your team went up against Vino Poppies. You also put up 150 points, and Vino Poppies came in with a low score of 115. He's 0-3, right? Is he 0-3 now? Damn, look at that shirt. You got your own shirt. That's legit. Look at that.
Man. I call it, week. Everyone was doubting me, and I just kept telling people, week 3 is the week of the Stallion. And exactly what happened.
I think it's on the tiny calendar, the week of the Stallion.
You know what? If I would have lost, I would have, we would have had a good nominee for fucking Bedshitter and Garoppolo, dude. He had negative points up until the fourth quarter. He had like negative 2 points up until the fourth quarter.
Dude, and he ended up with Niners like 3-0.
I don't know how. They're kind of shit.
Garoppolo had been pretty good the first 2 weeks. Like week 1 did okay, and then week 2 put up like 30 points. So I was like, he'll probably get me 15 points. I'll be solid. So I've had 3 different quarterbacks all 3 weeks, and none of them scored over 10 points for me. So I've essentially been playing without a quarterback. Yeah. So we'll see if that gets fixed this week. But yeah, Adam Thielen put up 20 for me. McCaffrey 46.
McCaffrey went off. Jeez. Yeah.
And then He had Antonio Brown on his team.
That's what he gets.
R.I.P. Antonio Brown.
For sure.
So it was rough for him. He lost Drew Brees a couple weeks ago. So, I had to win this game. If I didn't win this game, I'd be 0-3, and I'd be really, really sad right now. So, finally, glad to get the George W.
Hey, so we had a cartel rivalry last week. So me and Marlon went up against each other, and I kicked his ass pretty good.
Very good. Let's see. Yeah, well, it's crazy, Marlon, because you're probably one of the very few fantasy owners of Mike Evans that ended up losing this week, because Mike Evans put up 62 points by himself. Yeah. And yes,
I know. My problem was that everybody else sucked it up, dude. Like Zach Ertz only got like 10 points.
Yeah. Usually when a guy puts up over 50, it's a W. It's definitely a W. This time. Yeah, no.
I mean, I had Green Bay as my defense. They put up 13 points, even though even though Denver scored a whole bunch of points on them, they still came out with 13 points. Zach Ertz, Calvin Ridley, the previous games, Calvin Ridley was doing great, and then he just got 1 point, dude. That was so disappointing.
Bad shitter candidate for sure this week.
Yeah.
Smell that? Yeah. You smell?
I think it's caca, bro.
It's like caca, bro.
Yeah, but so I mean, Mike Evans had 62 points, but Danger Russ Wilson put up 62.3. So
I was so upset, dude. I was like, I was trying to look back. I was trying to look back when the last time Russell Wilson got 62 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before he was a born again Christian. I think. I think it was before.
Is that what it is? He's got Jesus blessed.
Yeah,
before he married.
It's been a while.
Yeah. This was a fire division.
Yeah, I had my next best player was Marvin Jones, which was a little unexpected, and then I also had Greg Olsen, who has had 2 solid weeks in a row. And
that's old man Greg. And
T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton, unfortunately, he went out in the first half, but prior to that, he was putting up some numbers.
Like 20 points in the first half. I was like, what?
Half, yeah.
Not bad.
When I saw that cue, I was like, yes.
So this leaves Mike as being undefeated. However,
boom.
Those aren't all wins.
Damn.
Those aren't all wins.
Chris put that negative energy on me.
He mentioned it.
He put that Nostradamus on there, man.
I just want to say my score didn't get revised down. Bro. My score didn't get revised down. Flint Tropic's score got revised up, so we ended up in a tie.
Like an exact tie.
Did you get like an extra tackle? Is that what happened? Like a stat correction or a
point one? It's a yard, dude. So I don't know if it's a passing yard, but I don't know.
Chris was that nasty, man. He was just like, nah, bro. This ain't a win, Mike. You straight up called it, and it straight up happened, bro. That nasty.
Yeah.
I did it to you, bro. I'm sorry. But this is the first, dude, it's crazy to have, it's crazy to just tie, but like the fact that we go to the decimal and it's still a tie is pretty out there.
Yeah. We do 2 decimal places.
2 decimal
places. We go 2 decimal places and it's still a tie. That is insane, man. But you managed to do it, Mike. Congratulations.
I feel good.
That Mike is 2-0-1, so technically you're still undefeated. Are there any? Who else is undefeated? I think we have Defensor Fortis is undefeated. He's got 3 wins.
Is in the same boat as me.
Right. He's undefeated. So let's get into some of these other games.
Yeah, it was Dem Lions and Defensor Fortis in the Earth Division. And that was a big game. That was the game of the week. Both of them. The week that Dem Lions came down to earth, man. He was averaging 180, dude.
But there was a point in the game where he was projected to just go off, and it didn't materialize. So
let's see who screwed the pooch for him, because let's see. Oh, Godwin got 8 points, Mike Williams 7, and that's pretty much it. And everybody else got. Matt Stafford only got him 14.
Fucking Patty Mahomes is going to average. He's averaging at least 40. He's putting up at least 40.
It's sick.
I saw his projected points for next week. He's got 38 points projected by Yahoo for next week. I've never seen a 38-point projection for anybody.
Dude, he's like a fantasy football god. It's unbelievable.
Anyway, let's get into these other matchups real quick. Ass and Titties beat Over Easy. Over Easy is the Saquon owner, so thus the lower score for Over Easy. They scored 136 points. Saquon ended up scoring actually 7 points. Not bad for fucking going out early.
Yeah.
More than Diggs. Shit, Diggs played the whole game and only scored 4. So that's the state of Minnesota wide receivers. Let's see.
Hey, Thielen had 20 for me, bro.
Dude, that's awesome. But
how many
targets did he get? He doesn't get that. I mean, he's just their go-to guy, I guess.
Yeah, I know he ran for a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That'll do it. But for Ass and Teddy's, Tyler Lockett went off. He got him 54 points. And Evan fucking Ingram. Like, is he the number one tight end? Is he the number? I feel like he's the number one tight end in all of fantasy right now.
He probably is. I would imagine so.
He is going off, dude, and that is crazy to see. It is crazy because Ertz, he's kind of been underperforming a little bit, right? For you, Marlon.
Yeah.
And I feel like Travis Kelce hasn't. I mean, Travis Kelce's been steady, but he hasn't had like a 30-point game yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man, that's crazy that Evan Ingram's probably the number one tight end right now in all of fantasy. And then the last but not least, let's see, we covered defensive. Yeah,
Flint Tropics and the Bangkok Lady Boys.
Yeah, Flint Tropics, another team that went over 170. We had 3 teams over 170 this week. 171 to 115. That's just a fucking dragging. Yeah. He just fucking dragged those lady boys.
Yeah, the Bangkok lady boys continue their campaign of mediocrity.
4-3, yeah, and they're actually projected to. It was projected to be a close game, but Yahoo projections, you know how that goes. I think it's bullshit. Chicago actually scored 21 points for the Bangkok lady boys, and they still only scored 115 fucking points. That is hard to do. It is hard to suck that hard. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, let's get into the standings real quick.
We got the Earth division. So it's Defensor Fortis at 3-0. He's racked up 455.70 points throughout. Well, before the fucking change, before they change everything up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So 3-0, Defensor Fortis. Then it's Dem Lions who've been putting up wild numbers. He's at 502.20 points at 2-1. Then Las Vegas 1-2 at 392.2 points. Vino Papi's 0-3. And the Win division, that's a close one. Everyone has at least a loss there. Ass and TDs is leading at 2-1, 469 points. Crossfaded 2-1, 461 points. Over Easy at 1-2, 427. Bad Hombres 1-2, 426 points. So that's a pretty good division, pretty close. I think all of those games were, those first 3 weeks, the divisional games were all pretty close. Yeah, and then the Fire division, we have Flint Tropics with 480.64 points. He's one of those tires. We have a fucking tie column now on these standings.
Jesus Christ.
Then we have Gridiron Throne 2-0-1 at 451 points. Then Coulon Santo 1-2, 417 points, and finally the Bangkok Lady Boys at 0-3, just at 365 points. So that's what Super League looks like right now.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're starting the non-divisional games, and maybe that'll bring, that'll kind of separate, which divisions are better than the others.
Yeah.
Right.
So who squandered it last week?
The squanderer, I heard, was Marlon. Marlon, did you fuck it up this week or what?
So I being the objective participant in this league, I recognize that I was probably the squanderer. And on my bench, considering that all of my players did jack shit for me, all my main players, I left Austin Hooper in the on the bench, who scored 24 points out of nowhere. I had Marlon Mack, 16.8. I had Terry McLaurin, 19 points. Mohamed Sanu, 13 points. It was just do the math.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Had it.
But we can't fault you for not starting. Tom mentioned this before. We can't really fault you for not starting Hooper over Ertz, right? Like that's
backwards.
Hooper. Hooper went off.
Like Ertz is the number 2 tight end in fantasy football. You expect him to put up numbers.
Yeah.
Right. You drafted him in the second fucking round. Yeah, you're not gonna bench him in week 3.
This is our next. The next segment is our favorite. It's who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
There's a couple of nominees.
Yeah.
James Ross, the fourth. Is his name?
No.
No, he's our best.
He's our other segment. It's not
Oh.
It's Daniel fucking Jones. Danny Dimes. 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Did you know he ran the fucking ball? I had no idea.
I thought apparently this Eli Manning, the Kroger version.
Right. He's like, yeah, the Hill Country Fair Manning. He's the Hill Country Fair fucking Manning brother.
Hill Country Fair.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck? Daniel Jones, 40 points. And Tom, you kind of picked them up. You picked them up in the league in an unconventional way, right?
Yeah, so I gave up Sony Michel I gave it to Dem Lyons, who was the first in the waiver wire. So I asked him if he'd pick him up, I'd give him Sony Michel, and we traded that. So
and a handy.
Like I said earlier, had pretty bad luck with QBs, and so hopefully something sticks. But yeah, I picked him up.
Dude, but that's kind of sketchy. You're putting it on Daniel Jones, to save you. Maybe, I don't know. He did great the first week, but that's kind of sketchy.
The way I see it is, I said it earlier, man. I have not been playing with a QB thus far.
That's true.
So it can't be much worse, bro. And they don't have Saquon, so they're gonna throw the ball. So we'll see.
That's true. All right. The next topic here is the bed shitter of the week. Who really shit the fucking bed this week? Does anybody have a nometee for the bed shitter of the week? Marlon?
Calvin Ridley, dude. Calvin Ridley. Week 1, he got me 16 points, 29 points in the next game. And my whole theory with him is that he was gonna face Indiana, and people are gonna concentrate more on Julio Jones than him. Yeah. He got 1 point for me, 1.6.
He only got 1 target too, right? Did he only get 1 target?
Yeah, it wasn't like
target
he was
crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't like he just had he dropped a bunch of stuff or he sucked at it.
Blame it on Matt Ryan, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck Matt Ryan. I'm kidding. I like that.
And this is where James Ross then.
I thought we were going with James Ross.
Yeah, John fucking Ross, the turd, not the third. He fucking laid a fat turd right on the 50-yard line. He scored what, a point? 1.5 points, I think.
1.6, I believe.
Oof. 1.6. Well, I'm going up against him this week, so let's hope that he fucking stays on this segment next week too, because yeah, man, he's a scary one, man, because we've seen him go off 2 weeks in a row.
You're playing Crossfaded, and Crossfaded just picked up Julio Jones. No, you're picking up Poppies. He picked up
Poppies.
It's reverse. So Julio Jones went to Vino Poppy. So that's who you're going against. So maybe John Ross doesn't see the bench. He sees the bench this week. Who knows, man? He might not play.
Maybe. Let's. I completely forgot that trade happened. So that's gonna be scary because Julio has been actually scoring touchdowns this year. That's been like his kryptonite. He's always been a stat monster as far as yards and catches, but like the touchdowns just weren't there. And now that he's scoring touchdowns, he's the number one wide receiver in fucking fantasy. Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. Let's see. Let's pour them out. The sad segment. We got a couple, I think, that we got to pour out.
Saquon Barkley.
Both of good ones.
6 to 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain. God damn.
You hate to see it.
I got one too. Let's pour one out for all of the Eckler owners because Melvin Gordon is reporting on Thursday.
Hey,
allegedly.
He can't play this week though, so they get one more week to
they get one more week. And let me tell a little tale about a no-most trade that happened yesterday. So I get hit up by the owner of Over Easy, and she's like, I will trade you Amari Cooper. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I will trade you Amari Cooper. I want Eckler and Robinson from the Chiefs, the wide receiver for the Chiefs. And because I'm 1-2, and Eckler is going up against Miami this week, and I can't go 1-3, dude. I can't go 1-3. You know, I need those Miami points. I need to get to 500. And I said no. I fucking rejected it. I wake up this morning. I go to work. I check my fucking phone, and Melvin Gordon's fucking reporting on Thursday.
But that's like, I remember last year, man, Le'Veon was supposed to report several times, like a few days beforehand. It was, no, this is the week. He'll be here in a couple days. So we can't be certain that he'll be back.
That's true. But Le'Veon Bell's a silly motherfucker. Melvin Gordon seems like a sensible man. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to report. I don't know. But the thing is, I own Melvin Gordon as well. So I'm kind of happy that he's coming back because I think overall he's a better running back than Eckler. But I could have traded Eckler for Amari Cooper and then had Melvin Gordon to start. But if I was 2-1, I would have done it, dude. But I'm 1-2 and I can't go 1-3, man. If I go 1-3, that could fuck up my whole season. So I'm going for
that's bed shitter of the week quality right there, bro.
Maybe I'm the bed shit. Maybe I'm the turd.
You should have disclosed this information before we start recording.
Oh man. Anyway, what's the next one? Oh, the big cock on the block. Actually, he's in our presence.
Damn, it stings. It stings even more, dude, to be the guy that he beat and got the award for the week.
How did it feel, bro? How did it feel?
Gridiron Thrones. Just squeaked it out too, right? There were a couple contenders for big cock on the block.
Marlon, you lost, and to think you have to show your face in public tomorrow, dude.
I do.
After this guy,
maybe I'll
like right here, Marlon. You gotta cover that up.
Maybe I'll cover my face in post production on this thing.
So Mike was super excited about it. He sent us like the chicken emoji whenever he got a big cock on the block.
Oh, bro, he's like as soon as chicken.
As soon as the Monday night game was over, he sent us 3 chicken emojis.
Confused. I was like, "What's up with all these hens up in here? Why is Mike sending me 3 hens?"
That hand on your chin, boy. That hand on your chin, boy.
That was good. But congrats, Mike. That was well deserved, man. You earned that
congrats,
one.
I guess. I'll bid it.
And then the no talent pussy, the quite opposite of the big cock on the block. Second time in 3 weeks, the no talent pussy of the week is the fucking Lady Boys. But no, actually, it's Vino Poppies. Right? Yeah. But only by 0.2. Only by 0.2 points.
So we may have a stat correction tomorrow.
We know stat corrections work. That could fucking change. But as of right now, Vino Poppies is the no talent pussy of the week. But fucking the Lady Boys are right there. We can have another tie, and we can have 2 no talent pussies of the week, and that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I would fucking love that.
Hey man, but you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, you never know, man. Those stat corrections, Mike is you're getting stat corrected one week, and then the next week you're big cock on the block, bro. You don't know.
That might be
fucking magical.
That might be good luck, bro. Yeah, dude. So yeah, you it was dude. Come on, man. God smiled down on you this week, bro. Oh shit, he shit on you last week, but this week he made up for it. All right, let's get into next week, right? The game previews for next week.
I'll see you next week.
Oh, another inter
Cartel
squad rivalry Cartel matchup. I like it a lot. Let's see who's projected to win.
I was feeling pretty good because I thought this dude isn't going to get a quarterback, but then you managed to collude your way to Daniel Jones, so it might be closer than I was expecting it to be.
The unknown of Daniel Jones. Like, is he gonna do it again? Is he gonna shit the bed? Like,
you know what?
No, that's gonna be
so he's going up against Washington. He's going up against the Redskins, and they don't have Saquon, so they're gonna have to throw the ball. So I'm expecting at least 15, at least. Right? He's not gonna.
He doesn't have maybe right. Golden Tate comes back next week.
No, he's gonna be throwing to Shepard and Ingram.
Okay. Because Tate's still suspended.
Yeah, Shepard had a game. He was on my bench last week. He put up 32, man. So
I'm a little worried. A little worried this week because Ty is questionable. I think he's going to be a game time decision, and Chris Carson is on my roster. He's projected to score like 17 points, but he was also projected. He was also projected to score high last week, and he only scored a couple of points. So
and then
he's
I
been
see Chubb, man. You got Chubb going up against Baltimore as well, so that's gonna be rough on the chest here.
Dude. Let me ask you something, Tom. Let me ask you something real quick, because you've got McCaffrey on your team, but he's going up against the team that you root for, the fucking Houston Texans, and the Texans have a decent run defense, right? I mean, you guys, that's one thing that you guys are actually really good at, stopping the run. So how are you going to feel about that? You know, that's a big conflict right there.
I mean, I can root for Christian McCaffrey. I can hope Christian McCaffrey has a good game, and I can still hope for the Texans to win. The two aren't mutually exclusive. McCaffrey can still, put up 35 points, and the Texans can still win. That's what I'm hoping happens.
Yeah. But are you going to cheer if fucking McCaffrey goes for like a 30-yard touchdown run, like in the fourth quarter, that puts him ahead, that puts their team ahead? Like, that's going to be like, oh, I hate that. I hate being in that position,
I mean, it depends on circumstances at the time. If the Texans are up by 21 and then McCaffrey busts for, a 85-yard touchdown run, dope.
Right.
If he's putting the nail in the coffin and means we're losing, then I might hate him for a little bit. But if I win in fantasy football, it makes it a little bit okay.
A little sweeter.
A little bit okay.
Hey, Marvin, who are you going up against this week?
So this week I have the privilege, the honor.
No, the honor
to try and
get a win.
It's the battle of the asses. We got Aston Titties and Colon Santos.
Dude, the Fundillo Bowl.
The Fundillo Bowl.
Dude, that's crazy.
You got the Fundillo Bowl.
I didn't even realize that.
Aston Titties has got I'm projected to win right now, but that's because he's got two guys on bye that he hasn't switched up. So my guess is that. What was that?
We need to make a trophy for this.
My guess is that he's going to put Chris Thompson and Cole Beasley in. Huh?
Like the Red River rivalry, the winner gets a fucking cowboy hat and shit. Y'all need to exchange, y'all need to make an ass trophy. And then it goes back and forth every year depending on who wins the fucking game.
No, I vote that the loser has to wear assless chaps and has to post it on social media.
A
picture.
You got to prove it. All right, that'll work too. That'll work too. Yeah.
So my guess is that he's gonna put Cole Beasley and he's gonna put Chris Thompson in for those buys, which will project him to win more. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think Cole Beasley's got it in him.
But as far as a bye week replacement, it could be worse, man. Those actually aren't.
Yeah, anything's better than a zero, but.
Yeah, it's better than a zero.
Well, man, I'm really nervous about Tyler Lockett though, because Tyler Lockett has that kind of he'll be off and on, and when he's on, he's like
the big playability.
Yeah. Well, he's been on for 2 weeks in a row now. The first week he kind of laid an egg a little bit, but these last 2 weeks he's been performing, man. So let's see if he can keep it up.
We'll see.
Let's see. I'm going to go up against Vino Papi, who, as we stand right now, is the current no talent pussy of the week. But he just completed a trade that has me a little worried, because he was the Ezekiel Elliott owner, and he is now the Julio Jones owner. He traded Ezekiel Elliott for Julio Jones straight up. And as an Ezekiel Elliott lover, because he runs for the Cowboys, I think that Vino Papi's actually won that trade, just because Julio Jones has been scoring these touchdowns and he's been balling out.
Yeah, I agree.
It has been consistent.
I was actually trying to get Ezekiel also, and I was talking to Vino Papi's. Well, I mean, I wasn't initially, and then he was like, maybe I can trade him and get some more value, get a different player, mix it up. I'm 0-3. So he just straight up traded for Julio, and I told him, man, I was like, man, you could have asked for something more, like a backup running back, an RB2, RB3 maybe, because I mean, running backs, like starting running backs like that, elite running backs are hard to come by. There's only 4 of them, right? And then once they're off, receivers, you can kind of, you can go to the waiver wire and hit it, and you can get receivers and there's, you might have a boomer bust kind of guy, but like running backs are it's such a key position that when you have an elite guy, I mean, that drives a premium, man. Like he could have gotten more for it. So yeah, I definitely think that that crossfade definitely won that trade for sure.
Well, I think that like when it comes to running backs, it's easier for them to stay consistent, right? Because with the wide receiver, right? Because with the wide receiver, you're dependent on the quarterback to have a good day as well. You know what I mean? If the quarterback is having a shitty day, then it's going to be rough on you. But as the running back, they're more consistent because it takes less effort from the quarterback position. And if you've got somebody like Saquon or somebody like Ezekiel, where those guys can create something out of nothing, like that's fucking valuable for sure.
Yeah, and he's gonna get the rock a lot. Like, I mean, that offense is built around him, so he's gonna get the volume. He's gonna put up consistently around 20 points, I'd say, consistently, and he might boom for 40, 50.
Right. The only knock I have about Zeke this year in fantasy is that he's just not getting as many of the drop downs, the targets. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just because of the Cowboys wide receiving core getting better. And so those targets that used to be check downs to Zeke are now going to Randall Cobb or Gallup or Cooper.
At the same time, Dak hasn't really faced a tough defense to where he has to throw check down a lot. So maybe whenever you play, he's literally played the 29, the 31st, and 32nd defense in the league. So I think Zeke will get that eventually when they start playing defenses that are going to start cleaning up on the receivers a little bit better.
Right. And it is a new offense. It is a new offense with Kellen Moore calling it. So maybe he just hasn't gone to that well yet, or maybe it's just not as many checkdowns in his offense. It's still early. We still don't know, but it's just something to note that he's just not getting as many targets.
Either way, Zeke's gonna be fine, and he's gonna be consistent.
Yeah. Hey, so we got some other good matchups coming up. We got Defensive Fortis going against Crossfaded. Defensive Fortis is on a roll. We'll see if they can continue their winning streak.
Right.
Yeah, Defensive Fortis Fortis last week actually put up he didn't put up godly numbers like he had been. And then Dem Lines is kind of shit the bed a little bit. Only got 130, but yeah, man, Defensive Fortis, he has Patty Mahomes, so you gotta watch out for him, man. He's going up against Crossfaded, who's also doing really, really well. Has Ezekiel, and that's gonna be a battle, I think.
Yeah.
Again, it's crazy that Patrick Mahomes Yahoo is projecting Patrick Mahomes for 38 points. That is blowing my mind, man. I've never seen a projection that high.
And it wouldn't surprise me if he exceeds it. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, against the Lions. I mean, do the Lions have that shitty of a defense? I don't think so. I think they're like an average defense, and he's projected to score 38 fucking points. That's crazy, man. So if you look at all these other players, they're not really projected for crazy numbers. It's really just Patrick Mahomes, man, who's really projected for a shit ton. Even Alvin Kamara, 21 points, that's a pretty high projection, but that's what you get with an elite running back like that. But yeah, it's pretty insane. And like you said, you guys kind of mocked him a little bit for picking Patty in the second round, but in the draft, but it's looking like a good decision right now. He's 3-0.
Yeah. So next up, Dem Lines is going up against Flint Tropics. They're projected to be a pretty close matchup. I think it'll be pretty close. Excited to see that. Two potential playoff contenders there.
That's true. Let's see. Dak Prescott for Flint Tropics and Michael Thomas. It'll be interesting. Let's see how many points he puts up with Bridgewater. How did he do last week? I didn't even see Thomas's numbers for last week. With Bridgewater.
I think he did decent. It was 15 to 18 points. I can't remember.
Yeah, he scored 16, which is a season low, but not by much. Against the Rams, he scored 18 points, but against the Texans, he put up 27 points, and that was with a healthy Drew Brees. So maybe, that's kind of a dip right there. We'll see how he does this next week with Bridgewater. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and the last matchup this next week is Bangkok Ladyboys going up against Over Easy. See if Over Easy can overcome her loss of Saquon Barkley and continue to beat up on the Ladyboys.
That's right, man. The Ladyboys are actually, I'm surprised that they're projected to win right now.
Yeah.
These Yahoo projections, I don't really agree with, but 139. They're predicted to score 139, and Over Easy is predicted to score 121. I'm looking if she forgot to put somebody in a position, but it looks like she's got them all filled out. Yep. And that's pretty crazy. Yeah. Let's see.
Losing the first overall pick is always a tough thing to overcome.
Yeah,
it's hard to overcome, but she could do it. She could probably do it. I might trade her. We'll see what happens.
I mean, she does have Phillip Rivers playing Miami, so
Oh yeah, that's potential for a lot of
Rivers. Right, Rivers might put up some numbers. So we'll see.
Yeah. He could turn it into Patrick Mahomes for the week. It's possible. Anything's possible against Miami.
And then I mean, Disley's only projected to score 11 points, but man, Disley's been balling the last few weeks.
He's been going off
for sure.
So we'll see that.
Because Disley's going up against Arizona, who's like the worst against tight ends. They're like the absolute worst. So yeah, he could easily
worst against everything.
Against everything.
But yeah, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see how this first round of non-divisional games goes.
Yeah,
I know. I'm fucking super excited for an easy matchup because my fucking division is tough, man. Or an easier matchup on paper. But yeah, Julio Jones, that's going to be scary to go up against this week. Fuck. But yeah, I mean, I think we're all pretty confident though, right? Going into this next week, I think, the only undefeated player here is Mike, but I don't know. I don't really believe in you, Mike, so I don't think that's going to last long. Just kidding.
Haters are my motivators.
Haters are my motivators.
I'm going to try to slay the hen this week, baby. I'm going to slay the hen.
Slay the hen.
Let's slay the hen, dude. Let's do it.
Oh, God.
That's all. All right. Well,
all right, guys.
I think that's it.
We'll see how it goes this week.
See you guys.
Good luck.
That's it. That's
Except for you, Mike. Not good luck to you, bro.
Yeah.
Look to everyone but.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
All right.
Keep chasing your wet dreams.
That's right.